I'm taking you through this so that your mind can open to understand. So that your what? So God is a God of knowledge, and, and you can't give what you don't have. If I'm not willing by God to know this, I can't be here to teach. Can I teach you? So I'm just transferring what God has engraced me to know in my own little way. So know that without God, in your knowledge endeavor, you can't go far. Without who? God, you can't go far in knowledge. You can't go far in what? You must always acknowledge God as the source of knowledge. Always what? Always. As for these four young men. And you know when those guys were in Babylon, nobody could match up with Daniel. In all three generations of kings, Daniel was irrelevant. Daniel was he was far above magicians, he was far above astrologers, he was far above sorcerers. Babalawo he was far above them. You know why? You know why? God gave them knowledge that supersedes their own. So in your learning, always acknowledge God, even in your mind. I'm not going to say pray, but in your mind, begin to connect to God. Say, God, as I'm learning today, open me up for understanding. Open me up for what? Understanding. I was like you some years ago. If somebody had told me that I'll be using computer stuff to impact people's life, but I learned like this some years ago. And some of you are going to be like me. You're going to be teaching others. It's not all of you, some of you, some of you. Some of you are going to be having companies. Sit down well. Some of you are going to be having companies. Companies. You're going to be having companies, but it starts from here. It starts from what? The way you take things from there matters. So we stop at what shape you. Now, don't forget that I mentioned to you, I am using the version of code I'm using is 2021. Now, the version you have on this system is what? X3, which is 13. X in mass is what? 10 plus X3 is what? So you have version 13. So now there might be some few differences in what is and that. Do you understand? But the fundamental is same. No talk. I will move you out of that place. So the fundamental of it is the same. So now we said we can use the shape tool for several things. Who can remember? Hmm? You're not in class, so don't talk. Just listen. Just what? So we can use shape tool. What are the things we can use shape tool for? You can remember. If you draw and if you draw a rectangle and you click on the shape tool, you draw it. I can make it to be rounded what? Corner. We mentioned that last time. Rounded corners. You also said if you draw a circle or an ellipse, you draw this, and you click on the what? The shape tool. And this is to give you what? An arc or a wedge. Hmm? Do you understand that? Do you understand? So now on this system, so let's move to this system. Now, good, we have to get close to it. So on this system, so I want everybody to okay, so now we have the shape 2 here. Now you can see we have the shape 2 you have the smudge, you have the brush often, and then you have the free transform. Do you understand? So now we've looked at how we can use the shape tool, isn't it? Now when you draw a circle, as I mentioned earlier, you can use the shape tool to give you what? One dead corner. When you draw a circle, you can use the shape tool. Okay, remember you can do something like this. Just hold on. So, so we can do something like this. Let's make a copy of this. So you can come here. I hope you are seeing the screen. So now, so we can do, so we can do something like this. Now you can use the shape tool to give you this. On this, it can be this. Do you understand that? You understand? Now, and then when you use a polygon, when you draw a polygon, and you use the shape tool on the polygon, you can use it to give it a star. Do you understand? So now we will be looking at um, the smudge tool. Now on so this is what the smudge tool does. Okay, because of there's a concept called convert to curves. There's what? Convert to curves. Remember I mentioned the last time that if you understand how to use shape tool, that's the tool that you use for designing logo, for building logo. But shape tool can only be used with a command called convert to curves for you to be able to use it to build or develop logos. Now, when we tried using the smudge tool on this, can you see what's happening? Can you see? Can you see what's happening? Can you see what the smudge tool is doing? And once you click on this, you can move it. So what the smudge tool does is to draw within an object. Now I click on this and I do smudge. Now it's telling me that the smudge can only be applied to what? Objects. Which means convert to curves. So I'll say, okay, so convert it to curves. Then before I can now use it. Do you understand? Now, if I want to divide this into two, I can use the smudge on this. If I try to use it, it will bring out this, then we convert to curves. Say, okay. Then I can now move in between it this way. Do you understand that? So that's what the smudge tool does. Now, the next one is the roughing brush. It also must be converted to what? To curves. So you can use roughing brush to affect the edge of curves. Let's move this close. Can you see? Can you see the way it's affecting the edge? Roughing only affect the edge. Now, okay, let's look at another application of roughing. For example, let's say we draw this circle, and then we now say we want to apply the roughing tool. It brings out this prompt. We say, okay, we convert to curves, and then we now move it across the edge. Can you see? And it's moving it across the edge. Can you see that? It's roughing is only applicable to edge. Now, the other two, smudge, affects edge and inside. Roughen to only affect the what? The edge, which is the boundary. Remember, there's a boundary. We mentioned there's an outline. Do you remember that last time we said object has properties? Look at this. It's only affecting the what? Now, remember we said that object has a property. An object, for example, has this is a four-sided box. Now, there is what is called the outline or what? Or boundary. Outline or boundary. There is what is called the field or inside. Do you understand? Now, when you have a straight line, the only property a straight line has is what? Outline. It does not have an inside. Does it have an inside? But when you have this straight line, now, does it have a field? Does it have a field? Huh? Does it have a field? But when you join it this way, does it have a field? Yes. Good. So it's only closed parts or closed objects that have what? Field. But open objects like this, they only have an outline. So this is how you know. Now, while you are in CorelDRAW, for example, remember the last time we were able to paint. Okay, so we're able to. So for example now, if I draw with the line 2 and I come in and we draw this, then when you look at your property bar, this is your property. If I say curve on what? Now if you look at this, and then you look at this, it's saying this is the field. It's saying it has no field. That X means no field. And this is the what? Outline. Outline is what? Black. Can you see that? Then this one, now, so I can come here and give this what? Color. And look at what happens there. It's showing me the field is what? But the outline is what? Black. I can come here and change the outline to black and to green by right clicking my mouse. By right clicking the mouse. Look at this. I right click the mouse on the particular color. And you see that change it to green. And there on the status bar, it's showing that it's what? So if you move close to that object, can you see it is green? Can you see that? So that's to let you know objects have outline or boundary. They have what? Field or inside. But for a straight line, the only property of a straight line is outline. It's only what? It's only outline. So the only thing you can do for this is to change the outline color. You can't change the field color. Do you understand? And you can see that's why you say under the field saying none. There's nothing you can do to the field unless it is closed, like we have that on the board. Do you understand that? So that's that for the smudge. I mean roughing brush. Do you understand the roughing brush?
Yes.
Do we all understand the roughing brush?
Yes.
We are doing something else. Close that Microsoft Word application. So that is that with the what? The rough one. So let's look at the free transform. Now in CorelDRAW, anytime you see anything transform, anytime you see anything transform, transform, anytime you see anything transform in CorelDRAW, transform has to do with size, skewing, rotation. Do you understand that? Anytime you see what? Transform. So now, the free transform What it does is the free transform. What it does is, for example, if I draw this box and I come to the free transform, I come to the free transform and I begin to click on the box. Can you see what it's doing? Is what is it doing?
Rotating.
Huh?
Rotating.
So if I click on this one and I do this, what is it doing now? Can you see I'm still holding on the mouse? It's giving me the outline of where the nail position will be. So if I release it, it should be there. So what the free transform does is to what? To what? To
Rotating.
rotate objects. Is to what?
Rotating objects.
I hope you're putting down this down in your notes. Rotate object. That's what the free transform does. So the next item we're going to look under the toolbox. The next item we're going to look under toolbox. The next item we're going to look under the toolbox is the crop tool. We have crop tool, we have the knife, you have the eraser, and then you have the virtual segment delete. I need you to put that down. You have the what? So you have the what? Crop dot. Then what's the next one then? You have the knife. Then you have the what? Eraser. Eraser. And then what?
Virtual segment.
Virtual segment delete. So you have those four. Two. So you have those four tools. Do you prefer me to use this one so that everyone can see or this one? This one is better. Everybody can see. So now, so for example now, you know the word crop. Most of you who have phone and you take picture, you can crop pictures, isn't it? So crop means to take out unwanted parts. So that's the same way that tool functions here. So for example, if I click on this object and I click on crop, so can you see the crop tool selected? Can you see the icon has changed to crop tool? So I can now come here and say, you can see the box. What is within the box is what will be retained. Everything outside of the box will go out. Do you understand that? So if I click crop, can you see? It's only retain what is within the box, everything outside the box. And then it has turned this object to an open part. Is it closed now? So we cannot give it inside the color. Can we put inside color? No, can you see? It's not giving inside color. The only thing I can do is to change the color. The outline color. Do you understand that? Is it clear? Is it crop tool clear? So for example, let's say I draw a circle and I click on the crop tool. Once you click on the crop tool, the icon changes. And then, so if I come here, I can still adjust. Now I can adjust before I finally call. I want it to be here. And then you click on what? Crop. If you click on clear, it won't do anything. It won't crop it. So you have to go back again and apply the crop tool on that circle. So if I click crop, can you see what happens? So it has made this close object to be an open what? So is to remove unwanted parts from an object or from a photo. Now let's look at, remember we mentioned that objects, both text, shapes, images are referred to as objects in CorelDRAW. So for example, if we type and we type in CorelDRAW and we do this, we can increase. So remember we mentioned the last time the pick tool, we can use the pick tool to copy or duplicate. So now while my pick tool is selected, so I can do this and right click. I can do this and what? Right click. I can do this and right click. So then what we can do, we want to use the cut tool. So we can come here and say we just want to remove. So I can come here and adjust and say, okay, remember the cut tool we only remove. So for example, we want to use that to create something. And I click cut, look at what happens. Do you see what happens? Let's move it close. Can you see what happens? What is clear? Cut is true. So that's the cut tool. You can apply it on text. You can apply it on objects, circle, box, any shape. Any shape. Do you understand? So that is that with the cut tool. I can also apply it on pictures. For example, let's say I import a picture. I come to file, import, and I import a picture. I import this picture. And then you can use the cut tool to say, okay, let's say I want to just keep this part. Then I can adjust it very well. So it's going only going to keep this part. I click cut. You see that? So that's how you apply the what? The what? The what? So that's that. I want you to listen first. You have time to practice. So that's the cut tool. The next tool is called the knife. The what?
Right.
Now, so the knife works in this way. Let's say I create a circle. Let's draw a circle. Draw a circle. I mean a rectangle and a circle. So let's also draw a polygon. Draw a polygon. So let's clear this our workspace where we are. You can see clearly what we are doing. So I will want to use the knife tool. Now, so can you see the knife tool? It starts from the edge. So the knife. It starts from one edge to another. Okay. Yes, yes. So for air, we can click on this one. Start from one edge to the other edge, and then cut it. Can you see that? Do you understand that?
Yes.
So that's what the knife tool does. So we can use the knife tool on this too. You come here, you click at the edge, you take it to the other edge and click, then take out again. So by the time you click on this, you realize that it has cut it out. So is it? that's what the mind does. Do you understand that? So you have the virtual segment. So let's insert another page from here. I inserted another page from there. Can you see this plus? Can you see this plus? Hmm? Inserted another page. So let's draw a box, an ellipse or a circle. Draw this. So now we now want to use the words the virtual segment unit. What the virtual segment unit does is to cut the part out. Let's undo, Ctrl Z to undo, so that you see the way it works. Can you see? That's taken out. Let me undo that. Undo that. So let's do this. And then come there. That's the way virtual segment unit works. Then the next item is called the what? Eraser. So what the eraser does is from the name, it erases. Can you see that? It erases and creates a new shape. Can you see this? And then you can fill this with color and it's so beautiful. Do you understand that? Do you understand that? The eraser now for text. Let's say we type a text. Let's say we type a text. I will say